Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the Watchmaker. Let's continue. So we've gotten 2 of the 3 puzzles done, and so now it's just a matter of trying to figure out where even the 3rd puzzle actually is. I guess it's over in that direction, but I guess the question is, what do we do to make this guy not step on us, but instead... Oh, I guess maybe the whole trick there is to literally just keep him busy. Like, because he steps on you, and he just chases you, and he's like the only statue in the entire game that seems to chase you, and yet he's the one. Seems like he's stopped moving at that point, too. Like, he's the one that you would almost certainly run into first and foremost. And see, I just got close enough to him that he would step on me. So, yeah. The whole thing is just, I think, to get this guy to chase you, where you have to be somewhat near him, because you can't get him to, like, chase you completely around. But see, if you get in a corner, you're going to get squashed. The good news is that this is not so much an issue. The bad news is that's not really solving the problem either. There's something else I need to do besides just getting him to leave me. Like, there's something about this path here that we never figured out. And these snakes are nothing but pains in the butt. Alright. Let's see if we can just jump and run around that. Oops. There was a slight problem in that was obscuring my vision. Okay. Let's try this again. Like, I seriously doubt that's what we're supposed to be doing, is that. And then that's not like a jump that's designed to be helpful. And for sanity's sake, we'll just drop down here. And that triggered an audio clip that we'll almost certainly never play again. What are we supposed to be doing with this golem? I'm gonna try and jump a little bit later / earlier, see if any of those timings make sense. There's no crouching down though, so if this was supposed to be something, it would have to be a spinning gear here to let me through. Let me just double check all the buttons. We have not used a single object. And yeah, you're not supposed to walk around the edge there. So, seemingly there's something around moving that, getting that gear to move. by getting this guy to chase you. But you can't let him get too close. But I think after a certain point he also just... like, unless I can get him to walk to a different gear, like over here, if he'll make the decision that he wants to stop this gear instead of you. He does want to stop a different gear. Interesting. What's funny is that it stopped a gear that didn't have anything there. Alright, well, whatever. That's weird. Let's go ahead and checkpoint. In the previous recording, they said that this guy was from the future, but they also made a point of saying that his love was barren and wouldn't be able to give him children. So I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that the person that we're following here is either a child or a father character. Okay. So it is a matter of getting through what looks like almost a gauntlet here. Which we may just have to get more of these statue golems to chase us. And we may just have to run around them because it just does not feel like there is video game content here that's polished enough. Here's what I'm thinking. You're supposed to take this guy this way. And then you're supposed to come over here and jump down. And that doesn't really change much. You get a lot more distance if you dash while you're if you jump while you're running, which is interesting. Now, is there a part of this gear that's open, or are we just going to follow in a pathway? I think we just have to follow in a pathway, which against the wall. Okay, fair enough. And then they're going to give us a nice little checkpoint.
Hey, chatty boys.
I knew you'd ask me something.
Just out of curiosity, how did you and Aurelius meet each other?
Well, he was some sort of...
There's the sprite who's been
to me.
mostly missing.
He protected me.
When did he protect you? When you were a child?
I never had any parents, all right? Are you happy? May I go?
And where will you go? You're trapped here.
Don't test my patience, Watchmaker. I, too, have feelings. You don't need to hurt them in order to speak to me.
This is just terrible dialogue.
I'll just keep fixing this.
So he was a jailer and he protected the world from him, I imagine. And see, whenever you do this, it breaks everything around you, so Now, when they move slowly here, I guess they're not hitting with very much impact either. And they're trying really hard to point out that you have this time freezing ability. See, do I even want to use a key? Because all you can go back to is like 30. And I guess maybe the reason why you can only go back to 30 is because if you were below 30, then at a certain level you would also age yourself right. If using a key, you would age yourself below 0. But you could easily have adjusted for that. I feel like we're going to do a boss fight here. And here we've got gears turning into platforms, which we've seen some of that. You could have easily just said it will only take you back to 20, and even if you use a key. And I guess I have to say this.
Is it the same? What did you find out?
There's just a couple of little changes, but it's mostly the same.
Mostly the same? Why do you keep moving around if you're barely any help? I'm done.
Hey, take it easy, Watchmaker. You're starting to talk like Aurelius. The whispers are affecting you.
No, they're not! I'm starting to think you're good for nothing.
I'm going. Have fun with the golem. We'll talk later. You don't know how much you need me. You have no idea.
No, I don't know, and I don't care.
Such attitude.
This is like a really simplistic boss fight battle, but at least it's not as bad as the boss battle before. And let's see, there's just like no room even to get behind the columns now. I feel like we're probably going to end up doing another worse boss battle after this. I like these portals.
He thinks he's clever, but he doesn't know that we have the great Watchmaker right here.
You are overconfident, chatty boys.
The saboteur is embarrassing himself. Can't you see?
No.
Let's see. I feel like we very possibly are the saboteur. Looks like we're going to have symbols of the zodiac, which I don't know the order of the zodiac, so that's going to be somewhat problematic if these symbols don't match something. Alright, what does that do? So do we have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Like we see this symbol. I don't know what that's doing though. I think we probably need to stand here, then run and see if we can jump. And then rewind. That's not working. We'll leave a shadow clone of ourselves. I guess that's it. And here we can just see more clipping than where you could have easily adjusted for that in many visual ways.
But this puzzle is above you.
Any idea of how to complete it then, dumbass?
Hey. What did we discuss about your insults? I think your intelligence is fading away as time passes, not just the aid. I'm here to support you.
Then support me instead of giving me trouble.
All right, you can do it, Watchmaker. That was sarcasm.
You don't even know what sarcasm is.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. What you said was straightforward. There was nothing sarcastic about it.
All right, I'll leave you alone then. You can do it.
And see, I don't know if this is supposed to be a reference to a video game here, or if this is just, again, terrible writing. Walk forward. And see that the only hint there, I think, is to say the puzzle is above you. And then here you have people walking back.
Watchmaker! I know
And
what
forth.
the rule saboteur is. We can't make any mistakes from now on.
We haven't done any mistakes so far. We've only advanced.
That's why I'm telling you. A single error could screw everything up. Just keep yourself young and follow my instructions. We practically got him.
I won't follow your orders.
What did you say? You won't?
I've got a feeling about that road.
All right, but you have to follow my instructions. At least in this part.
Yeah, sure. But I'll be the one deciding. It's my tower, and I'm slowly remembering everything.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
So here you have
We'll
like a
proceed
celestial
carefully.
globe-like device. And this is just like really unpolished, really glitchy. Okay. So, how do we get to that? Is that a long jump? Nope. Because that didn't work. Well, apparently was just dying was the trick there. I don't know if there was a bigger trick to it than that. Boy, does that not feel finished. Where you would just die completely. We don't even have audio playing this time. So, fourth puzzle section or boss fight. Yeah, it really feels just like bad writing when you maybe don't even need the secondary character. It would have been fine to have an adventure where you're just making your way and you don't remember everything, but you see a saboteur, you see that there are the effects of a saboteur. You may be chasing after your own tail. Still got sound effects. And here we have a puppet lady on a chain. And a very different type of design. Here you have bird cages and a kind of what is it? Alice in Wonderland type appearance. And see, there's apparently the exit just in the middle of everything.
What a feminine place. It's hideous.
I like it.
What? Did you forget your good taste back in level 2?
Can't jump over that tiny little fence. Yeah, this does feel somewhat inspired by like the American McGee Alice Madness Returns series, which theoretically they're trying to make a third game in that series, but I'm no real belief that they're going to get anywhere with it. Interesting. Doesn't seem like any of my time rewinding abilities.
Oh, a little box with a little surprise. Very much like the ruined saboteur.
They have
Some
creepy
evils are
faces.
scary.
Yeah, creepy doll faces. It does seem like they've basically ripped off some of those ideas. I've only played Madness Returns, but I don't believe either one of the Alice games has any kind of time rewind mechanic. Although it does have checkpointing like time rewind mechanics, as many games do. So I could see them maybe trying to go a different direction. And it seems like you're almost guaranteed that we're going to run into at least a couple more letters as the main story mechanic. And that might indicate that we're only halfway through the game. There's one more papyrus thing. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they wanted you to go through the entirety of all the levels a second time, or you could go through the entirety of all the levels a second time to get collectibles.
Alexander, my dear Alexander, it's been 5 years and your tree has become the tallest and most prominent building in all of Cogtown. And yet, according to you, it's not even finished? How much longer? How many moons will it take you to finally come sleep by my side? I feel like I have no strength left. My heart hurts more day after day, and I can no longer move like I used to. Today, while I was roaming around town, I met a man who caught my eye. He's a scholar from the Academy of Alchemy. His name is Thomas. He's very interested in your clock and believes it has a lot of potential and that he could bring its existence to the next level. I did not pay much attention to his scientific nonsense. Alchemists have always seemed like
That's
lowly
such
sorcerers
babble.
and charlatans to me. Although this man spoke in a very particular way, as if he already knew everything and did not need to show off. I thought we could invite him for some coffee and biscuits, like we used to when we invited our friends to discuss trivialities. Sadly, I must
She
tell you
is just
that we no
going
longer
way
have any
off.
friends, and that we are alone. This clock has cost us much more than you think. Yours truly, Alice.
So even her name is Alice. There's probably a more interesting world and story to be told here, frankly. Around a cogtown in a universe where alchemy and levels of magic exist, but we're not getting told that story. Instead, we're just getting platforming. Seems like either path would have been fine. And like we have pretty much completely stopped.
You pull too hard on the harness, they'll drop.
That does happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, anything may happen, Watchmaker.
If you pull too hard on the harness, they'll drop. I don't even see anything to interact with. Just don't think we're at that point yet. This is one of these magnet gun things. Press action button. I don't know why it says press action button instead of pressing Y. Yeah, I just don't think there's anything there yet. So we're gonna potentially rip out her heart from the looks of it.
The father of this woman must have been rich and respect traditions.
Ha! What a childish deduction.
Maybe he was a count or an ambassador.
Here you have a broken spinning one. Feels like you could fairly easily just drop down there. And pretty much there's just like no like the whole targeting system just is kind of non-existent in this game. Yeah, and it kind of feels like there's no level here at all, and this is just going to be straight up a story experience. Often you see in games they'll have publishers or backers, and there will be concrete numbers in which they will guarantee a certain number of things. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing an example here of oddly no. Now we're seeing a ghost in a game that has had no ghosts up until this point. And I just got an achievement for seeing a ghost. let's go ahead and use a key. So we can pick up another key. Really just running up the usage number on that more than anything. So yeah, they might be rushing us here to see and experience things. Now we're getting a full cutscene, which we saw a cutscene at the very beginning of the game. We also never get an explanation as far as like what happened to give him the glove or slash the arm, because that doesn't just look like a piece of mechanic. It looks like it's probably somewhat attached to his body.
There are definitely souls in the tower. Otherwise, I would not have visions or memories of this kind. She is unwell. Maybe the chatty voice was strapped here in the same way by the ruined saboteur. Damn! What does it all mean? The voice seems familiar, but only sometimes. We may have known each other from somewhere. Damn! I spoke out loud again. Hey! Hey, chatty voice! Great. No answer. He must hate the ruined saboteur. He must want vengeance if he is trapped in here. I have to be very careful now if any of them...
Yeah, you can see the chatty voice, as he's calling it, is
What was the name
right
of that
there.
woman?
And then here we've
Chatty
got
voice?
just
Where are you?
teleportation.
Chatty voice!
I'm here, Watchmaker. What is happening?
Is it possible for souls to be trapped within the tower? That would mean the ruined saboteur is gathering energy for something malevolent.
I don't know. You tell me.
Damn, I think he could be doing that. I have my doubts about this spirit. Maybe the woman is the only one trapped.
Wait. Would something malevolent be something like immortality?
Is that what he's looking for?
I'm afraid so. We have to stop him. You're wasting your time here, Watchmaker. Let's go. Do not follow that road.
I'm sure this road will tell us everything. I just know it.
Do as you want. With
Like,
such a scream,
there are
I
no
think you
roads
should
in
know
this
something
game.
specific about the woman.
Don't play the fool. In a few moments, you'll have to tell me everything.
Well, do whatever you want. But hurry up. And don't die with that backpack.
Yeah, he keeps saying, don't go down that path, don't follow that road, and this feels like it's being roughly translated to English from some other language. But even if you were to tell me that this was a game made by like Swedish people or some other country, non-English speaking group, I'm still not sure. I don't think that saves you much, because nice looking dress, you probably don't even get to see it much. Just look how nice somebody spent some time animating that, and then you look up here and look at the top of it and it just does not look anywhere as good. Now a lot of the tower looks like toys, which is probably an indication of like a child, and so I wouldn't be surprised if that dress at some point was going to unfold either in an original concept that never got followed or in a later point in the story.
Tells a lot about the woman.
Ah, woman. The greatest mystery of human history. Do you remember anything about her?
I think I've known her since we were kids. We were about 10 years old, maybe?
Did you like her from the first day?
I don't know. I don't know. Damn it! It's so confusing.
Be strong. You will remember more, surely.
I don't remember anything specific. I can't tell what she looked like either. She was smart.
So you don't remember that you two got... no, nothing.
What did she say? You were going to say something about her. Damn chatty voice, tell me!
I see you're going to keep cursing. I'd rather not tell you anything then.
What? If you know something, you have to tell me. Hey! 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 Damn.
So there may just be two females in the story. One that did give you a child or got pregnant at least, and one that didn't. And here we have the Rabbit's Watch. And yeah, honestly, if you were going to do an Alice in Wonderland reference, you probably should have done it a little bit earlier. I'm just going to go ahead and take the key now. There is a bit of a difference, though, between seeing toys like this
Hey, chatty voice,
and...
what happened to this woman?
Don't you remember her name?
No, but with what I've seen, I'm certain that someday there will be stories written about her.
It's hard to see the future from inside this tower. Let's say she was suffering from a serious disease.
What disease?
If abandonment was a sickness, we could say that it would be the portal for any thing to catch her.
Thing? You do not talk like that, chatty voice. Whatever it is you're concealing, I'll know soon enough. You would do better by helping me. Never mind. Just let me work. I will find a solution for the tower's energy.
Well,
Yep.
I'll keep doing my things.
It does definitely seem like this just is really badly written. And yeah, it seems like it's fairly obvious that he abandoned her. Estrangement is a real thing. It's a biblical, and in most states, at least in the United States, you don't even need a excuse for a divorce, but it's a biblical excuse for a divorce, at least under Christianity. So it's kind of shocking how many people usually overly ambitious men tend to try and just basically abandon their see. Actually, I don't know what this is really going to accomplish. Oh, I did this totally wrong, didn't I? We need that. And then we need that. This still won't work. But I think this is what they think will work. The general idea is to have a single gear connect the 3 horizontal gears. And now the horse is moving, and we're inside of it. Down below, which is good and all, but see, there will just be almost certainly a point where the gears would not connect. Alright, and I suppose the trick here is to just freeze time and escape. I don't know if I escaped the right direction or not, but I'm not sure it mattered either. Well, maybe it did matter. Yeah, I don't know if there's really a reason. You can kind of see the localized time problem that you'll have with any game like this if you freeze something, is that you then have to make adjustments for parts of something moving versus other parts of something not moving. Okay. I'll take a key just because I'm touching one. Okay, we can see that the horse is going in circles, which, oops, nearly fell. Which may have stopped our pattern as far as a path where we can go. There might be a way to get over to that side that I'm mistaking. It might be that you have to go all the way down. Yeah. In a weird way, a game like this kind of makes an argument for making more games walking simulators. Like, you could definitely have taken out the gameplay elements of this and not really lost that much. Felt like there was a checkpoint on that platform, but apparently not anymore. So he's going in circles. Which I think indicates that where I'm standing right now probably doesn't actually toggle any of the switches. I probably need to go up and around. There's a checkpoint here. Was that always there is the question. It would almost make sense that they would want you to end up swinging to different areas. So I guess the real indication here is that she fell into depression and committed suicide. Here we have a lot of clockwork sound effects. Feels like you could potentially have broken up a lot of this story section and shown flashbacks and flash forwards. I haven't seen a lot of games do a great job with flashbacks and flash forwards, but I wouldn't be upset to see a game like this try, because then that opens the door to potentially having a like you then potentially have a shorter game that can tell its story without having to justify the art aesthetic changing as often as you would like it to. This is a pain. So you can either freeze time, or you just have to get really, really lucky. I think you probably either are supposed to get really lucky here, or you're just running and jumping. And I guess running and jumping is the solution for this time. There's nothing over here, nor does it seem like there is anything over there, ever. There we go. And anytime we see this, it's another one of these documents that seem to be the outward perspective of the story, where it just slowly watches. 1780 in Cogtown. This Clocktown in Clocktown. So is it Clocktown or Cogtown? Maybe there's both. Apparently this is supposed to be somewhere in the UK, or at least a world where the United Kingdom exist unless UK stands for something different. Yeah. I would have definitely probably criticized this game if it was just trying to steal a lot of ideas from Alice in Wonderland and then doesn't have a female protagonist. I also would complain a decent amount if it looked like and played like the way it did, and then they just slapped on Alice in Wonderland. There are several different subtle mentions of time elements, and Janus, I believe, is like the Greek god of time, and the first one was more just gears and clockworks. And at a certain level, I get it. I personally had a fandom for what they call skeleton watches and pocket watches and such, and I don't know if that's a unique slight fandom. It's just unfortunately gotten
it is childish as well.
like
Colors are a reflection of someone who's traumatized. We must help.
I won't take responsibility.
interesting. So the indication is that each of these monsters is the leftover remnants of somebody's trauma. That's a weird sound effect for these little dolls. Because they look like dolls, they don't look like marionette puppets, which is more what I would expect. And that felt like we could do something with that, but apparently not. We're inside the face of something.
If you're talking to me, it is something undeniable. Did you remember it or did you discover it?
At this point, I'm not sure.
It's like a
Maybe both.
giant porcelain
I
hand.
manipulate watches, you manipulate minds. It is obvious that you're an alchemist, and surely you know other forbidden arts.
Be careful. You are treading on a dangerous domain.
Dangerous why? You're just a voice that needs me. You follow me, but you do not want to be here. You urge me to leave this path. You are the one who needs me. And I even think you're afraid of the woman.
Ha! Afraid of a dead woman? I hope you're joking.
And in a way, you could say that you're dead too if you can't fix this. Focus and let's go for the ruined saboteur before it is too late. Bloody level!
Watch your tongue.
Just like weird interactions, certainly. If you're going to have conflict between two characters, you kind of need to either start immediately with conflict for a video game, just where they immediately fight, or you need to establish a relationship, probably a friendship, and then have it slowly go sour and bad. We were walking through a porcelain hand, which reminds me of Alice Madness Returns, because there is a fairly obvious section where they are
Watchmaker, I'm
just
sorry. I felt you call out from far away before I couldn't come any faster.
How long have you been following me? How long have we been talking?
That is relative. We have already discussed it. Not even the ruined saboteur could know that. I'm afraid it could be hundreds of years, or just a week.
Damn. What about the woman then? Tell me something. How long has she been here?
We don't know, you stubborn old man. If I were you, I'd give up on her. We must pursue the ruined saboteur right now.
I can't. We have to help her. I feel something in my heart.
And what does it
you can
matter?
clearly see
Our
that there's
lives
just
matter,
like
not their deeper.
dialogue.
And how did she die then? Did you know her? God damn it! You don't understand. I'll
Whenever
keep
you
going
get to
alone
an
if I must.
area.
Help me if you feel like it.
I'll help what I can. Stay calm. It's dangerous to get upset.
Seems like you're almost getting these
Yeah, sure.
dialogue sections out of time, which again, if there was a animation just implying directly that you're flashbacking, flash forwarding, that would be helpful. Or even if they said that the Watchmaker's mind is just completely broken as far as temporal linearity, I would be fine with accepting that. I don't know if I want to go down or up. Here we have one of these walls. But even at that, it doesn't go down. Interesting. So yeah, there's a section where they very visually tell you that Alice from Alice Madness Returns was like sexually abused, and they do it by you literally walking through a gaping hole in a giant doll's genital area. I'm like, oh yeah, that was kind of shockingly just on the nose, and frankly, there was probably a lot of other more subtle hints that I was not paying attention to before that point that would have also indicated that in that level. There are different levels in Madness Returns indicating different traumatic events. Here we seem to be getting quite a lot of watches, which at a certain point might just be easier to look at all of the watches at the end. The music is cycling in circles. I don't know if this is a bigger level or if this is a case that I've just started to play a little bit better or a little bit more thoroughly. But yeah. At a certain point when you play a game like The Binding of Isaac, which is a more recent example of somebody who clearly went through severe trauma in their life and is probably not 100% capable of not expressing that trauma in their art. Like, artists tend to have some level of suffering in their lives as much as anyone else does, where that becomes a interesting issue is you can have a game like The Binding of Isaac, which is super popular, that if it were just skinned differently, if the creator just allowed a different person to put a mod on it to make it more family friendly and sellable to more players, he probably would have tripled or quadrupled his sales. But instead he stuck with his artistic vision, and it still was very successful. Not much of an animation there, and feels to me like the game literally turned me around. We may not actually accomplish a full level here. I think they could have... This is another point where game directing would have certainly come into play. They could have left out the creepy doll faces. They could have left out the creepy dolls in general. Apparently the water is somewhat dangerous to him. I didn't realize that. These jumps are not fluid enough for the distance, and it really is a particularly small gap that you have to jump, and it's still not enough. And that's why they have this big lip on the edges, but the big lip on the edges also not quite as useful when you are dismounting. Remember, you have a timer here. I need to get more of a wind up before I jump. You have a timer in the fact that you're always aging, and that gameplay mechanic has accomplished nothing. You could have easily said he was always aging and made it that he only aged when he took damage, or you could have pushed it. Yeah. Was I supposed to do something here? No, I think I'm supposed to move the whole thing, but I think you have to do it in little bursts. And then it locks down for a brief second. Which again, timing. And you don't really have time for that. I don't know if these toy drummers hurt me or if they just make loud sounds. To me, it seems.
If there are souls trapped here and a sick woman is guiding me, it means that the clock controls the time by pulling its strings at its own will. How did that happen?
You mean that's why there's no time?
You're so close. Do you have any idea why you're stuck here?
Yes, of course.
And when were you going to tell me? Are you dumb or just stupid?
The ruined saboteur funded an alchemist movement and brought it here in this very same tower. At first there was an exit, now it's gone.
If there is an exit, we must destroy some mechanism interposed somewhere. It may be organic, because with things as they are, it's as if the clock has a life of its own, but controlled by someone else. The ruined saboteur.
You finally deciphered something, Watchmaker.
When my memories return, it is easier.
Come on, you can do it.
See, I don't know if maybe these guys are just putting out kind of a shielding effect so that I can't shoot the dolls further away. It would be fairly easy though to not have the dolls and just had the marching characters. It would have been fairly easy to not have the jack-in-the-boxes, as they're not really doing anything, and they didn't do anything when they were snakes. They didn't do anything previously. You could easily have gotten rid of all of the offensive creatures at certain level. The first one to go would have almost certainly been that first boss fight. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of chess pieces. And then down here. Am I supposed to jump on top of this? Is there a reason for that? If there's a reason, I don't see it. Like, even if I got up here, I don't think I get close enough to the next platform to get somewhere over there. So I just think this might be a secret area where there's apparently nothing but a few health refills. Music is still looping in crazy amounts. I'd argue, even by modern standards, the original American McGee's Alice and the okay. Okay. So we've now got a Mad Hatter shooting little puppets at me. are we trying to get them all trapped? Yeah, uncertain as to what the goal there is. Is it to pull him out? So he traps that. They get trapped in these little bear claw traps that don't make any sounds. And then what? That pulls them downward. Sure. Apparently I'm not supposed to be hitting that yet. Alright, we now have no energy until it slowly refills. And this clearly is a boss fight.
Those bothersome little things must be the key. They would not attack you otherwise. Break them or something.
So you get him here. And then I've unloaded a full amount of energy on him. That doesn't do anything. So, is the trick to possibly get him to stretch himself wide? Alright, what's the trick? Is the trick to get him to twist himself up? Meanwhile, time is continuing to happen, and we just don't have any. Like, if I'm supposed to be hitting the cup, yeah, colored me confused. Like, time rewind powers, time slow down powers. This could be a case where really you just are not getting both of them in a bear trap fast enough. Okay, so then that fairly quickly frees that. Let's walk on these ourselves. We're completely immune from them. Which, okay, that helps, but it doesn't solve any of the questions there. Hitting that and having these cups. I'm at like 61 now. See, these things just tend to get stuck even on their own. So let's just die and see if we can figure out what's going on. Like, we are here. These guys start chasing us immediately. This guy gets stuck immediately. See, they seem to both be chasing me. And so, unless this is a case where right when he's about to hit, we freeze time. And only when he's about to hit do you have that opportunity for this Abraham Lincoln character who seems to bounce up. Let's see. Oops. Suffice it to say, the game is not doing a good job of telling me what it wants to see happen here. Instead, it's just playing music. Alright, 2 reds. Which, if I stand right here, that red then changes. So there's got to be something. Like, let's come over here and see if we can get one character here, like that, and then one character as far as possible over this way. See, if that was the goal, was to do something like that. Oh. So we are moving these cups. I don't know where we're moving them, but apparently they have no indication that they should be moved. Okay, that was weird. So we have a cup here that can be moved. Now the question is, why can it be moved? What does it benefit you to be able to move the cup in any direction? Like, this really does not feel like this is in any real way connected to the boss battle that's going on right now. The only way this one would move without the platforms changing is if that happened. Okay. I think I've got it. We need to get the cup to run over the people. Possibly when they are trapped. So let's do that. There we go. Is he now stuck on the cup? I think he might be. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I can move the cup back in this general direction. And I don't know, like, if I can get the cup to fly off the edge. See, that seemed like that was close. This just feels really wonky. Alright, well, let's set ourselves up for a twofer, as it is. Because it does kind of feel like there probably is only one way in which this is going to work. Alright. Okay. We need one of these guys to get caught here. We need one of these guys to get caught here. And then we need that to go. No. So that's not the solution. Where else could we have spun this thing? If we get it around here, and then we get it around this way, and we get it this way, maybe we could get it. I mean, we still are fighting two of these guys, right? And pull any kind of scheme on us and kill one. Although that guy does kind of look like his string is broken. I don't think that's the case though. I think that's just visual glitch. Okay. What are we trying to accomplish here? Okay. Okay, so now I think the trick is to get one stuck and then get another stuck. We need one guy to get stuck there. And then I think another guy to get stuck here. And at that point, I think I just messed up the whole thing and the game crashed. So this is as good of a point as anywhere to end the recording. We'll have to start up the next recording wherever the game saves. Quick saved, it should just be right before this boss fight, I imagine. Otherwise, we might just rage quit. It would be a perfectly great time to kind of rage quit. I also wouldn't be surprised if maybe this is one of those games where it is pretty much impossible to get past this boss battle. It took forever just to figure out what they wanted us to do, and clearly there was some kind of animation or something that was supposed to trigger after that point. Or I was supposed to dunk them in the same cup multiple times. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon. Or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.